Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What hobby in men gives you green flag vibes? Op about to use every green flag top post to lie his way into a girl's heart. Copy, paste, pussy, winking face. Gardening and caring for pets or small animals. Weird reptile guy who has a weed grow up in his fridge. All right. My husband just brought a MHC, which I've been told stands for Madagascar hissing cockroach, but I believe actually means motherfucking holy shit cockroach, into the house. Long story, but he had always wanted one and the thing basically popped out of someone's laptop into his arms. I was not happy at first, but after seeing how he cares for even the most disgusting animal you can imagine, it just confirms that the man is all love and kindness. So we named her Cookie, and I will admit I'm starting to feel some affection for her. My absolute can't fail secret to help bros meet women is to volunteer at a pet hospital or animal rescue. They employ like 90% women and you're automatically a worthy dude just for showing up. That sounds like a Dennis Reynolds style tactic right there. Already did that. It is about 99.9% 70-year-old women and tweens trying to earn a girl, Boy Scout badge. My girlfriend says it's a green flag that I support mediocre sport teams and have fun watching them, even when they lose, which is pretty often. Mine said the same until the Lions turned good and now I'm insufferable. You deserve to be as insufferable as you want this season. My GF once complimented how I can be patient with her. I replied, I've been putting up with Leeds' shit for 15 years. Yours is easy in comparison. She didn't find it as funny as I did. 100% reading. A girl in high school saw me grabbing a book, Hannibal Rising, from my luggage. We were returning from a contest that took place in another city. And the first thing she asked was, "Are you gay?" Bill Hicks' voice. Looks like we got ourselves a reader. Fellas, is it gay to be literate? Damn it. I'm more of a 30% reader. Start them. Forget the characters. Binge Netflix. Does that count? I read all day. It happens to be Reddit. I'm a tabloid sucker T-Rex. My husband's hobby is making firewood. The entire process is his jam. Cutting down deadfall, bucking it up, carting it home, splitting it, stacking it, showing off immense wood piles to anyone who will listen, burning it. It's cheap and actually saves us like $1 per month on heating. I know this one is 100% real because you roasted the shit out of him while also genuinely appreciating it. It's a pain in the dick BC when I want to get a hold of him. He can't hear his phone, chainsaw, quad, log splitter too loud, or so he says. But then here I am enjoying the wood stove heat, so it's fine. Any hobby that a man isn't ashamed to do because it isn't manly. For example, my husband is a very burly work with his hands manly man, but every night sits down and makes quilts with me. He even has made a few of his own. I do cross stitch. I'm a dude. When I worked in a service industry, I'd sometimes do it on my breaks. The other guys would give me shit for me. The women were much friendlier. Your men colleagues, he's not manly. Quote, your women colleagues, he's secure enough in his masculinity that he doesn't need to perform machismo. He's a good one. Quote, this is so fucking cute. Sorry man, I can't make it to the cool party tonight. I gotta take care of my small animals while I do jigsaws and paint my mini figurines after I finish volunteering at the local library. Sound of vaginas everywhere gushing in the background, according to this thread's answers. I mean, yeah, that would work. I gotta show you a diorama of the Shire I made that my cat and rabbit play with. It's in my van. If he has pets and cares about him, truly it is such a green flag. A fairly significant reason why I married my husband was how devoted he was to his cat. She spent her first couple of years living in a woodpile in West Virginia and was not particularly cuddly or easy to love. But she was his princess. Lol. Unsurprisingly, he's an 11/10 husband and dad, so that was a good call. My husband plays guitar for our orange cat and I love them both so much. ETA. Our two other cats don't care about the guitar. I knew someone in college whose hobby was restoring old books, like classics he found in a Goodwill or that had been handed down and were well loved. He would repair the glue, trim down the weathered edges of the pages, etc. My mind was blown, and to this day I wish I had talked to him more about it. Edit. Apparently this is the red flag of a murderer and I'm out of the loop LMAO, so guess you'll see me in the news after being abducted by a stalker who likes books. Skull. Was his name Joe? I immediately thought of Joe Tears of Joy. Having plants that are actually well cared for. My husband had 2 well-tended plants in his small place when we met. I thought, oh shit, he can keep one alive, something that is beyond me. I ended up murdering one plant by falling on it and breaking it in half. Was a tree kind of thing. And once we got married we got a cat and the cat took down the other one. Every time he looks at getting a plant while we're out, he looks over at me and goes, why am I even looking at this between you and the cat? That's just cruel to the plant. Gestures wildly at the 40+ plants in my place. First time my boyfriend came over to my place. We'd only been going out with each other for a couple of weeks. The cat came sprinting down the hallway to investigate who this stupid new human invader was. And how very dare I not alert him to his presence. Cat skids to a halt. Gets scooped up and was fussed over for a good half hour or so. That's a major green flag, that they love animals. Not so much when they then bloody ignore you for 10 minutes every night when they get home from work to fuss over the feline overlord and tell them all about his day. I'm sorry, but I would also ignore you for your cat. You have to. It's the cat tax. If you don't pay, then some claws might somehow find their way to your jugulars. We tried naming it pussy tax, but we were given some weird looks for that name. The very first time my now husband, Ken, came over to my apartment, he and my cat bonded like they were soulmates. My cat has been a cranky old man since the day he was born. He hates new people in his home, and will generally spend the entire time rage hiding in the closet. He especially dislikes men, for unknown reasons, because I've had the little bastard since he was 4 weeks old and he's never been mistreated by a man. I walk in the door, followed by Ken. The cat appeared out of nowhere and instantly latched himself onto Ken like they were old college buddies who hadn't seen each other in years. We obviously had no choice but to begin a serious relationship and ultimately get married. My cat, who I raised since before he should have been separated from his mother, who I have loved and cared for 15 years, would push me into a wood chipper if he thought it would get him more snuggles from my husband. Would push me into a wood chipper if he thought it would get him more snuggles from my husband. I've only ever encountered one dog like that. It is definitely a cat trait for sure. My wife loves and hates my now 4-year cooking hobby. Edit. For those that want the coleslaw recipe. 1 head of cabbage, shaved. 1 large carrot, cut and sliced. 1/2 red onion, sliced. Use mandolin if you value your time. 1 red pepper, thinly sliced. If you want it hot, add 1 pepper of choice, but it's really not needed and IMO would take over the flavor. 1/3 C of olive or EVOO. 1/3 C of apple cider vinegar. 2 tablespoon honey. 2 tablespoon spicy brown mustard. 1 tablespoon dried mustard. 1 tablespoon dried basil. Fresh basil is better. 1 tsp celery seed. 1/2 tablespoon chili pepper flakes. S.P. to taste, around 1 teaspoon for my family. I feel like my love of cooking comes off as a green flag until they realize how deep it goes. Constantly wrecking the kitchen. Grocery shopping daily for fun. Stinking up the house with fried food. Accidentally waging chemical warfare with Carolina Reapers. I had a dream about you, babe. Quote, I had a dream about kimchi fried rice. I'm heading to the grocery store. Do you need anything? Quote, best thing I ever did for my cooking and my relationship was learn how to clean as I go. I occasionally make a mess, but in most cases I leave the kitchen in better shape than I found it. If you've ever seen the episode of South Park where Randy gets really, and I mean really, into cooking, yay, that's pretty much guys getting into cooking. I love cooking. Starts as a green flag until they realize that French toast on Sunday morning means I'm feeding a sourdough starter on Friday night. It also means, you better get the hell out of my kitchen as I cook. I've never met him in person. But if I ever met a man, friend, family, in-law, doesn't matter, and he has a basement room with the whole Lionel train set up and a faux city, I'd be all over it. Please let me watch, help, set up. Heck, I'll help dust and clean it. I would find it utterly enchanting. Stop trying to fuck my dad. Exclamation mark. Stacy's dad is actually pretty rad. Straight guy here, and I have never met a train guy that was not just an awesome solid dude. Carpentry. Jesus Christ. Dude here who does dude stuff and knows dudes who do dude stuff. Hobby carpenters are generally very reliable and have their shit together type people. They also tend to be perfectionists, and things typically need to be done their way because they know the best way. So there's some pros and cons there, depending on what type of person you can deal with. Hobby carpenter here. The only reason I'm so anal about doing it my way is because that's the only way I know how to do it. I'm pleased that we give off this air of credibility. I honestly recommend woodworking to anyone seeking a hobby. It's super tactile. Planing and sanding wood is such a centering experience. It's a great mindfulness exercise. And it can be easy to get into, especially if you're willing to clean up second-hand tools. Couple of chisels and a saw is all you need to get started. Or buy a pocket hole jig and build anything from Anna White. https://www.anna-white.com/ Nailed it. I make my own wine and pasta. I wonder what flag that is. Italy less than that one. Building models. They take time and patience. Finally my time to shine, the entire Warhammer community about to explain 50 hours worth of lore. In one sitting. Thanks for all your answers, by the way. Being grateful. That's a green flag. Op. Thank you, pal. Closing parenthesis. Got to thank Mama and Pops for their homegrown teachings. Not a woman, nor a gay man, but I'd say most hobbies are green flags or no flags. My hobby is collecting cricket legs, but I only really get satisfied if I harvest them from a still living cricket. I said most, not all. Though I will give Yar props for being able to catch crickets. A friend of mine really loves Microsoft Excel. He watched the Excel World Tournament. He wrote a rap about Excel and we spent some nights finding beats for it and practicing it. Anyway, women have told him that it's not that he likes Excel. It's that he's passionate in the first place. That they find sexy. Person shrugging. Personally, I think it's because he's 6'4" and full of muscle. But sure, it's because he's passionate too. Sorry, I'm stuck on there being a MS Excel World Tournament face with raised eyebrow. Did he smile and give you a Vegemite sandwich?